In this video, you'll see how to build a powerful calculator app that goes way beyond a simple counter. We'll tackle core Jetpack Compose concepts like creating dynamic layouts with column, row, and lazy vertical grid, managing reactive state using remember and mutable state of, and handling complex input with real-time expression parsing. So, if we push a button, its value is added to the expression string, and when we push the equal button, the result is evaluated and updated on the screen. So we can also change the theme of this app using light or dark mode. If we switch to dark mode, the theme of the app changes. So let's dive in and build this app. First, create a new project with the name calculator and set the minimum SDK to 11. And then come to this screen. When you come to this screen, go to app Kotlin plus Java, com.example.calculator, in mainActivity.kt, remove these two composables and remove the scaffold, and then go to Gradle scripts inside build.gradle.kts, type implementation, and we need this library for evaluation of our expression. Press sync now and let it sync. Once it's done, go to main activity, and inside this package, create new Kotlin files. First, create a buttons UI file. Inside this file, we're gonna make two composables, calculator button and calculator buttons grid. So add composable. Alright, once it's done, go back to main activity, and inside here we need to make two more functions, calculator app and calculator screen. This will be the main composable for our app, which will render all the other composables. Okay, and then we need a display area composable. Actually, why don't we make a new file and store these two functions in that file. Okay, so calculator display. Inside this, we can write two functions. This one and another function which would not be a composable. Evaluate expression. This would take an expression as a string. Yes. Okay, that's the basic setup for this project. And in the next video, we're going to define these functions. It's time to create the calculator display. So first, column, inside this a text composable, a spacer, and another text composable. And the column will have properties, of course, like always. Modifier would be the first one. Modifier dot padding, fill max width first, and the padding would be 8 dp as always. And the vertical, first let's set the horizontal alignment. Alignment would be end, and vertical arrangement would be arrangement dot bottom. So this will align our text to the end and at the bottom. You're gonna see how it looks. Let's import text. Yeah. And the text, of course, should be expression. And style would be material theme. Typography, medium. And for this would be result. And style would be just the same. Just one difference. It would instead be large. Yeah. Let's import this, and spacer would have a height of 8 dp. Yeah. Okay, for this function, it's going to return a string, and we're going to wrap the return with a try and catch block. It's going to catch any exception and return an error. And for the try block, we're going to have clean expression. Replace the X symbol with an asterisk, and replace the division symbol with a slash. And this one. Like that. And also, let's define the result. Expression builder object, which would be passed as an expression. Build this expression and evaluate this expression and turn the result to a string. And that's it. We have the evaluate expression. One minor error, which is, what is it? Here. Just remove that. And that's it. Okay, one problem here would be that it's expression, but it should be clean expression. Clean expression. Yeah. Let's start with our buttons UI. First, let's define the buttons. List of strings. And these are the strings. Okay. And after that, we're gonna need a lazy vertical grid. Columns, grid cells, fixed, and 4, as you can see, 4 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a modifier, fill max width. The grid should fill maximum width, and the padding should be 8 dp. And horizontal arrangement, would be spaced by, the button should be spaced by 8 dp horizontally, and vertically just the same. So the buttons would be evenly spaced. Finally, let's define the buttons like so. For all the buttons, import items first. Yes, and we're gonna pass a label, and if label, which is basically this string, this is a label, this would be the label, and if the label is not empty, only then we're gonna call this calculator button composable. So it's gonna render our buttons. Alright, so label would be label, and on click would be this function parameter, on button click. On button click. We're gonna define the function later, and right now we're just creating an arrangement for the function to be passed. Okay, so that's all for calculator buttons grid composable. And now we're gonna make calculator button composable. So we're gonna make a box composable. Inside this box we're gonna have a text composable. Let's import the box composable and the text composable. And the text for this composable would be the label, of course. And 3 more parameters like color, style, and font weight. Color would be color.white and style would be text style with 25 SP. Let's import this text style. And this color object, this one. Yes, color dot white should work. Anyways, we're gonna fix this later. And font weight would be font weight dot bold. Okay, now in this box composable, we'll have a modifier which will set the properties, which would be size, background, clickable, padding. So size of this button would be 75 dp, and the background would be if label is not equal, then the color should be something, and else it should be this orange color. Yes, so this color would be, let me just grab that color real quick. Yeah, this one. And a clickable. Yes, so indication would be null, so that it doesn't get highlighted when we click the buttons, which we seriously don't want. And this mutable indication should be null, and interaction source should be mutable interaction source. And then we're going to pass our function on click. Yes. And next we're going to need some padding. And finally, content alignment, which would be centered, of course. Yes. Okay. What is wrong here? Yeah. We need a remember. We need the remember function, and inside that we're gonna call this function. Okay, that's almost all of the code for the UI. Let's just try to fix this. So the text is label, and color should be white. Okay, maybe it's something with the import function. It should be this one, maybe. No. Okay, I have an idea. Let's delete this and try again. Color. Yeah, that worked. And for this font size should be 12 sp. 25 sp, yes. So that's almost all of it for our buttons UI. One small thing, here we should pass label, and that one arrow will be gone. Okay, guys and girls, we're almost done. And let's make sure each of the files have this package declaration. This one does. And what about this one? Okay, it doesn't have that. And that will make it importing these functions impossible. Yeah. Now we can import these functions. Okay, let's define the calculator screen. Scaffold. And with a modifier, fill max size. And inner padding. A column composable with a modifier. Padding would be inner padding. And it's gonna fill max size. Yeah. Inside the column. Okay, first let's set the vertical arrangement, which would of course be bottom, because we want our display that vertical rule, horizontal rule, and the buttons squeezed at the bottom. Okay. So the display area, which needs an expression, and it also needs the result, of course, and the horizontal divider. No need to pass anything. And finally the button grid. And this is gonna take equals, yeah. Okay, let's just redefine that. Yeah. Okay, that's calculator screen. For calculator app composable, we're gonna have expression by remember mutable state of with value empty, and result just the same, mutable state of empty. Let's import this. Done. Now let's define the calculator screen. And the expression would be the expression. Result would be result. And that on click would be defined like this. So on button click, we're gonna have the label, and when the label is this, it's gonna do this, which I'm gonna define right now. It would just clean up the expression and the result. And the next would be this symbol, which would drop the last item for the expression. Drop last one character and equal sign, which would of course calculate the result and evaluate expression where we have this expression. And finally we have this else block, which would just append our label to the expression. A label would be a number or a symbol, both. Okay, that's calculator app for you, and let's call this function. In the set content calculator theme, here, right here. And now let's test our app. Okay, the app is finally ready. But you can see that the buttons are rectangle shape. We can change that. Rest of it is just working fine. Great, actually. Yeah. If you like it this way, you can just keep it like this. But if you like circle shaped buttons, then you can change them right here. Come back to the buttons UI, and inside here, where was it? Yeah, right here. Shape. You can set circle shape if you want that. It's gonna turn into a circle. Every button. Yeah. Now the buttons are circle shaped. And maybe we can also specify yeah, like that. We can also specify a rounded corner shape. It's basically the same thing, but here you can specify how rounded should the corners be. We set it to 75. It should be more rounded. Like so. And if you switch to dock to light mode, yeah, So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.